Good morning, my fellow yogic travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too, as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, and live the life we love. Well, my Emmett Fox teachings about New Thought, which is really nothing but the relationship between your conscious mind and the subconscious mind, basically our belief, which is a thought we think again and again, wishing that it would so, causes our subconscious mind and its power to be distributed in all phases of our life, according to our thinking habits. So it's up to us. If our body and mind have been fascinated by the incredible intelligence of our DNA, then we have to believe that our subconscious power will give you our desire, whatever we desire, by holding the thought in our mind, especially right before we go to sleep, and internally, virtual reality, feel what it would be like if it was already accomplished. Because that's really what you want, right? It's the feeling at the end of whatever you think you desire. That's the important thing. So get clear about what that is, because a lot of people have no vision, and therefore it doesn't happen. So if you consciously expect the best, feel the thrill of accomplishment, it'd be interesting to see how your own subconscious mind faithfully reproduces that. Now, my Native American teachers have always taught me to honor humility, make the necessary amends if you make a mistake, learn to serve others with what you've learned. Listening is a kind of gift that you can give freely to everybody. And be unpretentious as a learner. Ask for help at any time. I always ask to have any quest that I'm on be blessed by the ancestors, so we'll have spiritual power as I reach out to try to help other people. Now, I also want to talk about affirming potential. It's one of my old teachings that makes me realize what's the difference between being a necrophiliac and a biophiliac, a lover with love, a lover with life, not a lover with death. Well, the first key is to learn what self-actualization means. That means put yourself in an environment where there's auspicious circumstances and the likelihood that you'll thrive will be much, much greater. Like we say, a willow tree planted by the river, almost 100% chance of actualization. But planted by the desert, not so much. So, it's going to work if you work by putting yourself in an environment where you can, to the extent it's possible, design the moves, prefer the moves, see what that does. Then the teaching is there to remind you that it's going to comfort you if you're afflicted, and it's going to afflict you if you think you're too comfortable. That's what the Wizard of Oz did. He affirmed their potential. That's right. He gave one the medal for bravery, he gave one the tic-tac for the heart, and he gave one the diploma for the intelligence. But they all wanted to go home. That was the whole essence of the Wizard of Oz. How do I get back home? Click your heels 3 times and say, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. And according to the story, you could have done that any time you want. But we get distracted and turn our vision away from where home is, which is, I guess, unity with the spirit. And so I always tell people when they come, you have to learn to take self-responsibility. When you first come to a class, it's really great to have somebody check your poses and role model for you something that you'd like to get into further yourself. But after a while, just like going to a doctor, they give you the prescription because you want something from them, and then they give you a longer leash. They come back and say, see me in 3 weeks, see me in 6 weeks. And then after that, the leash is longer and you're more into self-responsibility. So in the same way, you come to a yoga class and you don't expect anything from the teacher other than the postures, right? But you think they were a charlatan if they said, here, just use this spiritual truth, that's all you need, goodbye. No, so you start doing the postures, but then later on you realize you're supposed to practice at home. By practicing at home, you take a little step further away. You wean yourself away from dependence on the class. You might choose to go there because you want to, but not because you need to. And then after a while, you internalize the whole thing and you realize whether you have the teacher or you have the class, you still have to commit yourself to practice. Because the truth is, success comes to one who practices, not to one who practices not. Basically, that's the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, and it's the Yoga Sutras, Abhyasa, long, uninterrupted practice with devotion over time. And the reason why you do that, as Don Juan says to Carlos Castaneda, even if I gave you the key, to the secret of the universe, but you had no personal power, it would do you no good. So you got to put in your time and do the reclamation work, as we say. Go back and open those files that were closed for a long time and maybe you had a little verboten sign on it. So you don't want to use perfection as a yardstick with which to beat yourself, even though you hold a high standard. But when it comes to understanding the things that have happened to us in our past, just remember, we can't fix the brokenness, but we can bless it.